right off the bat, you have to think these are two very similar but different things. Because the Fun Dip...
They're both dippable, but they honestly could not be more different.
See, I thought that at first, but realistically, with a Fun Dip, you're taking a sugar stick and you're dipping it in sugar.
Mm-hmm.
With a Dunkaroo, you're taking a sugar cookie and dumping it you're taking a sugar and cookie form and dumping it in sugar. That sugar's just also has like some condensed milk in it or something like that. So they're actually more similar than you'd think.
Wow. You know, it's crazy.
Even though the fundamentals are a bit
when we
different.
really sit down and think about it, we're not all that different.
But, so, I mean, to get right into the fight, and then I'm going to throw it over to Joe, but this is the biggest thing that I've been thinking in my head, is Dunkaroo, you have, let's say, 20 mini cookies, right?
20?
15?
Probably. I'm
guessing 5.
No, they're little.
I would say like 10 maybe.
They're little,
I would say
though,
less than 15.
but they're, really? Okay, maybe
it's my guess. I haven't had it in a long time.
I had one not too long ago, and it was, I mean, it's very sugary. Yeah. Children probably still love them, but it was like, I needed to brush my teeth after I ate just one little cookie because I just bummed one off somebody else, which is the worst kind of person, but I did it. So you have 10 small cookies versus the one big stick, I guess we'll call it, the Fun Dip stick. So strength and numbers could come into it, but you also have to remember that the Fun Dip stick is durable. You use it, the intention is that you use it for the entire duration of your fun dipping experience. Yeah. So I think that's a big factor in this fight. I'll throw it over to Joe, though.
Thank you. Durability is key. Picture a Dunkaroo in your index finger and thumb right now. And smash it.
Yeah.
Picture the Fun Dip stick in your index finger and thumb right now. It's not going anywhere.
No, it's not.
I have a few points to make on this very interesting subject. Should I go all right now, or should I kind of bring it around the horn?
Whatever you want to do. The floor is yours.
So we're on durability.
Can I tell you what I like to do?
Yeah.
I like to give a taste, but because Andrew doesn't have integrity when it comes to this game.
That is incorrect.
So I like to hold a little bit back.
I voted for Tommy Pickles one time.
Just in case he comes at me with a curveball, then I have a little bit more ammunition to throw back at him.
Okay, that's smart.
Yeah.
Very smart strategy.
Never show your hand kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't think you did in your initial... I was about to, but I'll hold back. Let's see. So we got durability is a big thing. And I know it's the product fighting the product. But there are strenuous circumstances to take into account. The person who would eat that product, the person who creates that product. I'll start with this. And correct me if I'm wrong. Dunkaroos, I believe, a byproduct of Betty Crocker. Fun Dip has some sort of connection to Willy Wonka.
Mm-hmm.
Willy Wonka's going to kick the fuck out of Betty Crocker's ass. That's that's right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And then one other thing I wanted to bring up is the kid who's eating the Fun Dip. He's wired, man. He's just snorting up his nose. He's going crazy. He's off the wall. He's bouncing. The kid who's eating the Dunkaroo, he's sitting in the corner.
The snack spot.
Yeah.
Anybody want to play Bakugan? Yeah. That's Dunkaroos.
Yeah. See, I like that because that's another thing that's very important in this is you kind of have to build these snacks their own personality, and a lot of that gets reflected and based off of the type of person who eats them. And I agree with your initial assessment of the two categories.
So I'll stop there for now.
Yield the floor. I am so glad that we first and foremost brought up the stick, because you do have to recognize that it's one of the hardest substances known to man is the Fun Dip stick.
It's on the periodic table.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's on you have to pull it out like a pop-up book, but it's on there. The Fun Dip stick does seem to be, the star of the show when it comes to Fun Dip. But we can't forget about that powder. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is what I think happens in this fight. The Dunkaroos come out all lined up, and they're marching towards the Fun Dip stick, and they try to overpower it like the Seven Dwarves trying to overpower Shrek, which is another Who Would Win of the Week we did. The Seven Dwarves failed. The Dunkaroos will fail in this instance because that stick will crush the Dunkaroo cookies I mean, just smashing them to bits so easily. Those things are crumbly as fuck, and they're going to get smashed. Now, the sugar part. Because the Dunkaroos also have the frosting, right? And you could use the frosting to try and slow down the Fun Dip stick, capture it, it's whatever, get it stuck in there. I think that the Fun Dip powder is look, I'm no baker anymore, but if you put the powder into the frosting and I feel like it's going to harden that shit up and render it completely useless. Every move that the Dunkaroo tries to make, the Fun Dip is going to have a counter.
See, so it's funny that this is where it came, because this is where I was going to take it to. Yeah, we hadn't yet talked about the sugar versus the frosting type material. And I agree with you that I think the sugar hardens up the frosting. Now, just to play a bit of devil's advocate here, from a strategy perspective, if I am the Dunkaroos, here's the thing about the Dunkaroos that I'm not sure if you took into account based on legality of this fight, but this is how I would do it. If I'm the Dunkaroos, Fun Dip comes in that papery container, whereas the Dunkaroos come in a type of a plastic shell of sorts.
Right.
So if I'm the Dunkaroos, I attempt to get as close as possible to the Fun Dip, because the way I picture the Fun Dip fighting is the stick stands there as the almighty powerful stick with the dip and package following behind it. The Dunkaroos are going to come at the Fun Dip stick five aside in their little boat of sorts with the frosting trailing behind it. As they approach, the Fun Dip stick might try to take a shot early, but they're somewhat protected as of right now because of the plastic shell. So once you get close enough, if I am the Dunkaroos, I go front heavy on the boat, almost in a sorts, flipping their boat over, pouring the frosting onto both the Fun Dip stick and the powder. So now there's two things that can happen. If the Fun Dip stick falls backwards upon impact into the powder frosting mix, the Fun Dip stick's going to be in some trouble, because we just talked about how we have a feeling that substance is going to harden. At that point, the Fun Dip stick has to free itself from the sticky contraption prior to being openly abused by 10 Dunkaroo cookies, which we know aren't the strongest. If that Fun Dip stick can escape that contraption, it's still going to handle the Dunkaroos with ease. If it struggles, the Dunkaroos are going to have a lot of open shots at that Fun Dip stick, even to the point where if I'm them, I try to keep it buried, keep the frosting sugar mix on that thing, keep their plastic container on top of that thing, and just hope that it dies a slow death, I guess. And that's just all theoretical. And also, now that we've had this discussion, I'll get into it. I don't think the Dunkaroos stand a chance. I think the Fun Dip stick is too durable for the Dunkaroo cookies to be able to outlast. But I think that the Dunkaroos do have a chance if they were to listen to my strategy.
Excellent.
I think it was a pretty good fucking strategy.
Good points were made.
Yeah.
Deliberate points were made. I wonder if the Dunkaroos even show up to the fight. I wonder if they even show up to the fight, man. When I got the word of, who would win of the week, I was super excited. I had to run to the store. Let me get my hand on a pack of Dunks. Let me get my hand on a Fun Dip stick. Guess which one I could find? Found the Fun Dip stick.
Right.
Guess what I found for Dunkaroos bullshit? I found like a knockoff Dunkaroo cereal. That's all I found.
That's terrible.
And maybe you take that as they're so in demand. They're so popular. They're out of stock. Or maybe they just never showed up in the first place. And who's going to fight the Dunkaroos battle for him in his place if he doesn't even show up? I know we don't like to talk forfeits. I know we don't like to talk defaults. I wonder if he shows up.
I think that the Dunkaroos do show up. I really think they do, because I honestly think that those cookies are pretty regimented. So I think they do show up, and I think that they are willing to die for their cause. I think those cookies will try their hardest. Obviously, it's futile in the end. the other thing about there's such a limited amount of Dunkaroo frosting. There is a ton of Fun Dip powder, so you can render the frosting useless and still have a ton of powder left over to, I don't know, what do you blind the Dunkaroos if they
are they
animals?
Sight? Are they like animal shapes?
No, they're
just
little
circle.
circular.
Oh, they're
yeah,
circles,
they're
okay.
like nickel sized, I would say.
But if you can like get the Fun Dip dust at them, those cookies are weak enough, it could erode the cookies a little bit, and they're already about to be smashed.
Well, not only are the cookies weak enough, but we don't actually know what's in Fun Dip powder. I mean, we can assume it's all sugar, but I'm sure there's some type of chemical in there.
Nitric acid.
Yeah. So my other thing is too, when we talk about the personality of the two snacks, I don't, and this might come as a surprise to people, I don't think that Dunkaroo cookies are as smart as I am. So I don't know if they would be able to develop that strategy. I think unless...
You're saying Dunkaroo cookies don't know how to read?
No.
Okay.
Dunkaroo's not even a real word. So... but... Yeah, unless one of the Dunkaroos has like a family with a large military background and has like a passion for like military history and kind of knows how to defeat a superior opponent in battle, I mean, these Dunkaroos are going to get crushed.
I think the Dunkaroos do have that, though. I think it's instinct for the Dunkaroos to, like, come out, get in line, get in formation. That's what Dunkaroos do.
Is there a leader amongst the Dunkaroos, though?
No.
Or is there one leader, like we talked
exactly.
about?
There's not one. See, I think the Dunkaroos, and it comes back to their personality, I think that whoever speaks first, that's the idea they go with. The rest of them are too shy
The
to speak up.
Dunkaroos are all about takowing.
No. Yeah,
The Dunkaroos do not stop with the takow.
They settle for everything. And that's going to be their downfall because, you know, this is like a David versus Goliath type fight. Like the Fun Dip is obviously superior in durability, but that's not to say it couldn't be done. The problem is I don't think the Dunkaroo cookies, and I'm not even saying that they're not willing to die. I don't necessarily disagree with that point, but I do think that they are just too, I don't even know the word because I don't consider, they're just not
passive.
Not good enough. Because I would say that they would be
really,
organized.
They can't really think for themselves, though. Yeah.
Well,
they can't improvise. That's for sure.
They're all
Dunkaroos
timid.
can't improvise.
They're all shy. They're all like, I guess we'll just go with that idea.
You think so?
Oh yeah, Dunkaroos are shy.
You know what? I can't argue with that, and not just because.
And
cookies,
also,
but
the thing about the Fun Dip too is like, again, to relate back to what we were talking about earlier, the Fun Dip stick itself has a leadership complex like no other.
It so
commands everything it does. It has its own pocket in the Fun Dip container, and I know Dunkaroos do too, but there's 10 Dunkaroo cookies in its own pocket. The Fun Dip sits by itself, and it knows exactly where it stands. The sugar knows exactly where it stands. It goes, stick is superior, then the sugar. The Dunkaroos, if they're smart enough to use the frosting, yeah, but I feel like the cookies themselves think that they're good enough without the frosting, and that's just, I mean,
I think that's absolutely true. The cookies are
at that point
in fact
just
going
buy,
to head in,
you know,
like
you could
first.
just buy
And by
a
then,
mini Nilla wafers, and you'd be, it's the same thing as a Dunkaroo.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Name me one thing in the candy world that is a bigger symbol of respect than the Fun Dip stick. None, absolutely none that are that regal, and it's a simple amount. You know, it's a simple regality. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay, there we go.
Simple yet effective.
Simple yet effective. So let's just lock
This
it in.
guy
then.
took college comp.
I got a 28. I wrote Batman on a lot of those test answers. Let's lock it in. Fun Dip
Fun Dip.
has to be.
Would you?
Of course.
You have to say it.
I was thinking about being funny and being like, wait, but no, it's Fun Dip.
Well, you know, we rack our brain. I think we gave the Dunkaroos their just due. I think we really sat here and tried for a little bit to figure out how the Dunkaroos would potentially be the Fun Dip, and we came up with 0 answers.
So we're locking it in. That's 3-0. That's a clean sweep. Vote on that on Friday on our Instagram at Two in the Cooler. That will be posted on our story. You can vote on that. And then 4 p.m. on Friday, join Andrew Canada on Clubhouse. Go on, discuss that, talk shit. You can say whatever you want. To a sense, Andrew will not ban you regardless, but, well, he's not. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we always do.
He doesn't ban people. But now I have a question for you now that that's done, though.
Uh-huh.
You walk into a store that have both. You're in the mood for a snack. What are you picking? This is completely taste bud related.
I love Fun Dip because I like that I like having the stick as almost a dessert at the end of
you eat all the sugar and then you get to finish off
and
the
that
stick.
because I love the stick. Sometimes I honestly kind of eat Fun Dip just for the stick. I love that, like, because I loved candy cigarettes as a kid, and it's the same shit. It's just hard sugar, tasteless sugar, and that's all you need.
Yeah, it's very funny because I definitely would not buy Fun Dip if I had the choice.
Yeah, like
I would definitely go with the Dunkaroos.
I would go with the Dunkaroos.
That's crazy. Dunkaroos,
and I love Fun Dip. Like, as a child, I haven't had a Fun Dip
I can't put that sugar in my mouth right now.
But Dunkaroos,
absolutely.
See, to me, because
send your Fun Dip to P.O. Box R.
Cookies are a pillar in my life. Like, I rely heavily on
for
cookies
you when
to
no one
survive.
else was.
Seriously, I feel like we've talked about this before with like
Probably.
Oreos and stuff. I need cookies in my life. Cookies, brownies, anything of that nature. And pure sugary stuff like that doesn't really get it done for me.